Welcome to the How Good It Can Get podcast, where we dive deep into the transformative journey from surviving to thriving. Join me, your host, Andrea Rice, on this empowering exploration of mindfulness, spirituality, and unlocking your full potential. Let me show you just how good it can get. Hello and welcome back to the How Good It Can Get podcast. I am your host, Andrea Rice, and we are wrapping up season 1. I've been on a bit of a hiatus, but I wanted to come on here and wrap things up before the year ended. I just wanted to say, first of all, how grateful I am. I am grateful for every single one of you that has taken time this year to take a listen to even just maybe even part of an episode or many episodes, whatever you've tuned into. Thank you. I am so grateful. This podcast has reached 21 countries, which I think is just absolutely amazing. And for everyone that has tuned in, I hope you got some value from it and took something away from it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. What a wonderful, wonderful year it's been. And much like all of you, I'm sure this year has been filled with some highs and some lows. And this is just a reminder that there is a lesson to be had in every low. That is an opportunity for growth. So if you're going through a low right now, realize that you will come out of it. There's an opportunity for growth there. And if you're going through a high right now, congratulations. I'm happy for you. That is a wonderful time to just let your gratitude show. And whatever you're going through, realize that this too shall pass. So if you're going through a bit of a rough time, it will pass. It will pass and you'll be stronger and have some growth from it. And if you're going through a wonderful time, an amazing time, and I hope you are, hope you're vibing high, realize that that too shall pass. So really soak it all in when you're in those highs. Just try to be present because those are the good times, and I hope you have more good times than bad times. And 2025, I'm really excited about. There are a lot of good things coming for How Good It Can Get in the new year. So if you have not done so already, please follow me on Instagram at An Abundant Universe on Instagram. And then you can also head on over to howgooditcanget.com and sign up for the email list so that you can be notified first when I put out new blog posts or there's some really good things coming, but I don't want to give it away today. But sign up so you're the first to know, and I'd really appreciate that. So thank you to everyone who has taken a listen. And I thought it would be really nice if I ended season 1 of How Good It Can Get with some highlights from season 1, some of the things that I thought were maybe the best parts of the best episode. So take a listen and hopefully get something from it. And if it's an episode you haven't heard, you can go back and listen to the full episode. So thank you, and here are some highlights from season 1. Before I go into detail about what Ho'oponopono is, I'm going to tell you that just fascinated me and hooked me from the get-go. So it's a story about Dr. Len, and he worked in a hospital in Hawaii that was for the criminally insane. I mean, this place was less than a desirable place to work, to put it mildly. This staff would routinely call in sick. They didn't want to be there. When people would walk through the ward, they would walk with their backs to the wall because they were afraid of being attacked by the patients. And Dr. Len worked there for 3 years. And during that time, he never saw patients professionally or counseled them, but he healed every single patient in that hospital. And I was like, well, how did he do that? So he would review the patient's files, and when he looked at the files, he would work on himself. And he would ask himself, what is going on in me that I have caused this problem to materialize, right? Because now that he's aware of the problem from reviewing the files that these patients have, it is now his responsibility to clear it within himself, clean it within himself. And he would ask himself, what is going on in me that I have caused this problem? And how can I rectify this problem in me? Because to change them, you must change yourself. And this whole concept really captivated me. And as soon as I left Eric's office, I immediately went out and bought the book Zero Limits, because I had to learn more. Like, how in the world did this guy go into a mental hospital and cure all of the patients, to the point that the hospital was eventually shut down because they didn't have any patients left? I mean, this is mind-blowing stuff. And he did it by not ever seeing a single one of them in a counseling or professional manner. He did it by working on himself, looking at their files. So the underlying concept of Ho'oponopono is that everything in your life, everything, because it has shown up in your life, is your responsibility. Everything. If you take complete responsibility for your life, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you come in contact with, right? Like what I said, Eric was taking responsibility for something that happened in my life because it was now presented to him, and now it was a part of his reality. Even though it didn't directly happen to him, it became a part of his reality because I told it to him. And it is your responsibility to heal it within yourself, because it is showing up in your life. And everything you experience is inside of you. If you want to change anything, you do it inside, not outside. And the idea is total responsibility, a total personal responsibility for everything in the world that shows up in your reality. And there's no one to blame, no one. All responsibility for every conscious experience lies within you. And that's the underlying belief when it comes to Ho'oponopono. And once you notice the problem, it is your responsibility to, what Dr. Len says, is clean the problem. He says you must always be cleaning. And let me put a little disclaimer in right here. I'm relaying to you what I know about Ho'oponopono, but it's also my understanding that what has been put out either on the internet or in books like Zero Limits, where they give you a lot of background and detail and story. There's a lot more to it that you just don't know unless you take their training and certification. So right now, what I'm telling you is just the very basics, but just the basics is mind-blowing. Really, it is. So Dr. Lin explains that there are only two ways to live life, okay? It's either from memory or from inspiration. And memories are just old programs replaying. And inspiration is the divine giving you a message. And the only way to hear the divine is to clean the memories out. We must always be cleaning. And one way that is repeated throughout the book is, in order to clean, what you say is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And that's what we were talking about earlier when I said it's a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. So basically you're saying, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I had a role to play in this. Please forgive me, right? And now I am going to clear this. Thank you. I love you. And they do mention throughout the book that even just saying I love you over and over is very powerful. Even if you don't say, the 4 statements, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Just saying I love you repeatedly is transformative, powerful statement, and it can transmute the energy. It's called O manifesting, or that's typically what I've heard it called. And there was a lot of buzz about it about a year ago. And yes, pun totally intended. So, what is O manifesting? It is harnessing the power of manifestation while you climax. All right, so it's probably got to be one of the most fun ways to manifest. And if you haven't heard of it, let me tell you a little bit about it. So, when we are manifesting, we want to be in a state of high vibration if we're intentionally manifesting. And I talked about that on the last episode. So if we can visualize and get that feeling, that energy of what we're trying to manifest, and just really soak that in and visualize it during the process of bringing ourselves to climax. And then at the point of climax and release, we are at a such high state of vibration, and it just releases all of that intention out into the universe in such a powerful magnetic way. It's probably one of the most powerful ways to manifest. I do it all the time. Sorry if my mom or colleagues are listening. That may be way more information than you want to know, but it is one of my favorite ways to manifest. I do it, like I said, almost every day. And even if it does not work, okay, I think it does, but even if it doesn't, I mean, there's no downside to this. Am I right? Let me dive into a little bit more about what O manifesting is. So it's a technique and practice that combines the principles of intention, visualization, and energetic alignment. You set clear intentions, cultivate a deep belief in their fulfillment, and then align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the desired outcome and sending that intention into the universe at the moment of climax. So, step 1 would be to set your intention. Step 2, visualization. Step 3, align your energy. And then step 4, surrender and trust. So while setting intentions and taking alignment and action are crucial, it is equally important to surrender and trust in the unfolding of the manifestation process. As you climax, release attachment to the specific hows and whens, and have faith that the universe is orchestrating everything in perfect timing, divine timing. Surrendering allows for greater flow and allows the manifestation to unfold effortlessly. Surrender and release as you climax. I do believe that we can manifest anything we want. And then I came across quantum jumping. You may have heard of the term, or you may have heard a little bit of a buzz about it and not known exactly what it is, but I feel like it's taking manifesting to a whole new level. If you can manifest, wow, what can you do if you can quantum jump? So exactly what is quantum jumping? Well, there is a theory, the multiverse theory, that says that there is an infinite number of realities. And in those infinite number of realities, there's an infinite number of versions of you. In one, you may be a teacher, a firefighter. In one, you may be homeless. I mean, there are infinite possibilities. So there's this man named Burt Goldman, and you can Google him. Fascinating, fascinating man. And he is the one that became the pioneer of quantum jumping. And his idea was, well, if there's infinite number of versions of you, wouldn't it be nice if you could tap into the versions that were more successful than you and figure out, how did they do it? Or if you're having a problem, what if you could tap into the version of you that already had a solution? Now, we can't go there physically, no, but he thought, what if we could go there with our minds? So that's what Burt set out to do. And he had some fascinating results with it. But let me talk a little bit about what you have to do in order to get into the state of mind to quantum jump. You have to be in an alpha state. And what is that? The alpha state is a restful, wakeful relaxation that is associated with increased alpha wave activity. So this is typically the state you would be if you were meditating. You're not asleep, you're awake, but you are in a restful, wakeful state. Now, beta state is typically how we are all day long in our waking conscious state. So this would be a more relaxed state between your everyday state and sleeping. And there's some other levels in there, but you're in a wakeful, relaxed state. And Bert had so much success with this. So what he would do is he would get into this relaxed state and he would go and quantum jump into another reality and extract information from those other versions of himself. I mean, he was so good at this, he became a master painter. He wasn't a painter in this life, but he would quantum jump and bring back that information. And then all of a sudden, he could paint. He was teaching a lot of classes, seminars on quantum jumping in his life. Now, this is in his 80s. He passed away a couple of years ago in his 90s, but in his 80s, he was quantum jumping and excelling at new skills all the time because he was quantum jumping. And he was teaching a course and the students challenged him to become an expert in photography over the weekend. So he took that challenge. And not only did he come back to the class the next week as with some great photographs, he had actually created a new type of photography. So Bert had so much success with this, and he really was the pioneer of quantum jumping. Bert Goldman, so much information on the internet about it, but I wanted to bring it up because it's a tool that I think we can use to take manifestation to a new level. What if we can tap into alternate versions of ourselves? What if you are struggling with a problem today that another version of you already has the solution to? You can just quantum jump, talk to that alternate version, see how that alternate version handled it, and bring that information back to this reality with you. Now, I have been practicing it myself, and I've done some quantum jumps, and it's fascinating. It really is. And you may ask, well, how do you know if you're really quantum jumping or just daydreaming? And I guess the answer is you really don't know 100%, but if it's working, does it matter? No. If you can see it, it is real. If you can see it, you can be it. If you can see it, if you can dream it, you can do it. I am a firm believer that if you see a version of yourself, if you see success for yourself, if you see yourself living a life that you want to live, then it is attainable. All right, everyone, that is a wrap on season 1 of How Good It Can Get. Thank you for tuning in. Those were some highlights from 3 of my favorite episodes from the season. And if you haven't heard the full episode, go back and take a listen. I'd really appreciate it. And we will be back for season 2 before you know it. But in the meantime, you can follow me at An Abundant Universe on Instagram. Go on over to howgooditcanget.com and sign up for the email list. And don't forget to hop on over to Amazon and pick up a copy of Vibrational Mastery. A high vibration is your superpower. So you can do a little light reading and raise your vibration while we wait for season 2. Thank you again. I'll see you in the new year. You've been listening to the How Good It Can Get podcast. Remember, the power to transform your life is within you. So stay mindful, stay empowered, and keep embracing how good it can get.